Welcome aboard, people. Yeah, it's old guy here. Back of the cabin. Beautiful day. I don't know why I got to be falling apart when I'm really trying to come together. Is there something going on here? What is the pressure? Where does pressure come from? What is this? How does one comfortably let go and find inner peace in this world? Om. Well, I wanted to do something every day this week, and every day I either have some excuse or it's just like, no, I can't possibly do it, or just I make Sleepy Joe Biden look like the Nobel Prize winner in physics. But it's okay, I say, it's okay. Gotta say, gotta speak. Whew. Suffering succotash. Well, do I have a list of things to do today here to talk to you about? I guess the big thing was Columbus Day. And of course, it's not Columbus Day, it's Indigenous Peoples Day. And isn't that the most fantastic example of exactly where we are in the world? And it would have been nice if I got something together on Columbus Day / Indigenous Peoples Day. Because that's sort of exactly where we are. We're right in this zone of moving into the next dimension, the next step. I want to say paradigm, but I'm getting really nervous about paradigm, so I just want to like rattle them, hit them. I don't want to say hit them with a baseball bat. That doesn't sound very productive. No, it's not an ism thing, battling against somebody else's ism. You can have your isms. That's a new definition of freeisms. Liberalism? Would that be what a belief in letting everybody have their isms? Would that be a liberal thing? I feel like there's something about that. Anyways, yeah, Cristobal Colombo and indigenous people. And where are we going? And what's it been? 520, 1492? Losing track. 530 years pretty much, something like that, since he set foot. And the indigenous people that were here, and we're all upset and ready to turn this world upside down in faith, in the vision of the new world. And I'm here at the New World Farmstead in Oregon too. And that's profound and interesting, and I'm going to be sitting with some of my family members, and pretty soon we're going to have something to show, a conversation, because it really is an intriguing time. And what are the fundamentals? Even as was listening to Amy Coney Barrett being Dianne Feinstein talking to her, and she sort of represents it, an America that has been kind of marginalized, right? Does it deserve to be on the margin? Is it only 5% or 10% of America that has this sort of, strong feelings about, just really strong feelings that can't be denied about the pro-life issue? Is that 5 or 10%, or is that 50%? Or is it more? If you were to learn about it, if you were to think about it, if you allow yourself to think about it. What is the sanctity of life, and why are we in an environmental crisis? And if we're transitioning from the old Columbus age to the indigenous people age, what is that about? Is that just like that we celebrate these lovely indigenous people on their reservations tucked away here and there, and sort of like almost like zoos. Oh, aren't they? We must save them. Oh, they're so special. And yet, we live lives like European conquistadores. I'm talking to my progressive friends. Just wondering, is it possible you're not seeing that kind of element as we make this transition to I think successfully, words like sustainable are really going to mean something, truly mean something. People are really going to face the dilemma of carbon burning and plastic using and modifying life to suit our own specialized desires or our own rights, that we should be able to modify life where we want it. You know, that's a tough one for any judge to decide. I go back to a poet who's still living, Gary Snyder, and one of these days I'll retrieve the poem from his Turtle Island book way back, late 1960s, I believe. And he talked about the proletariat of the trees. And who speaks for the trees? Oh, you got your radical movement of humanity, or trying to dredge up some romance in Karl Marx, or power to the people, as long as it involves the power of my governmental party being able to mandate to the rest of the people what we should want. But I don't think that's actually power to the people. I think we're missing something. Power to the people is when the people realize they have the power, and the government has very little to say when the people feel the power and act accordingly. Anyways, I should be jumping right on the Trump-Biden election thing. It feels very difficult for me because of Trump's performance in the debate. And, you know, there's elements that I disregard about his behavior because I get used to it. And I don't feel like, half the time I don't feel like it's that bad. But I don't know where I'm going except following my own, I feel like, red, white, and blue concept. Makes me ill, red versus blue all the time. The definition, mail-in voting, not with it. I'm into Election Day being a national holiday. Everybody get off your couches and come on down. Give fist bumps and love, I don't care, from a distance to the people who welcome you at the voting office. And if there's lines, and there's something wrong, because then there should be more precincts and more voting offices, and we should be a celebration of community and a celebration of this country. And everybody should be checking in until the last day, and it shouldn't be defined by, is it a red candidate or a blue candidate? I find that depressing. So what else was I going to say? Oh, I think in the terms of honesty for anybody, in October of 2020, with a few weeks to go before the election, I feel like I need to acknowledge the good things that President Trump has been able to accomplish in a very difficult period of 4 years, when he's completely been embattled by the news media, by the opposing party, the Democrats. So where is my little list here? Just simply, I'm not going to go into the detail. You can do your fact-checking another day, because I'm going to make a whole show on this. But here it comes. Got to be hiding here somewhere. Don't go near the water. We've done that. All right, Trump accomplishments. It's true. Immigration. Now, we didn't need the wall. We wouldn't need the wall at all if the Democrats and if the Democrats had joined the Republicans and being just a little firm, just like Barbara Jordan had advised, way back in 95, 96. 500,000 less legal immigrants. I'm not sure what the numbers are in illegal immigrants, probably quite considerable. The number's probably somewhere in the same 500,000. 1 million new residents every year on top of the births in America is totally destructive. It messes up communities, it leads to sprawl, it gives money to developers, it keeps Wall Street happy, and it keeps people who are fired up by compassion fired up, because that's anything opposing that will then be, quote, racism. Anyways, and then the side effects of immigration, of limiting immigration, means that less biology is destroyed for new humanity in their sleazy little corporate villages that we build up and down the seaboards of California and Portland, Maine, down to Florida. New little village, your neighborhood, creepy little things. Poor people who come to this country, I think they know in their hearts that the compassion element, there's something wrong in America. I think they can see it. If they wanted to move to a country that didn't have a pride in its community, I mean, they wouldn't have come here unless they wanted a country that had the firmness of laws and we're all working toward this. I understand it's not a done deal at all, but nobody'd want to come here. Immigration. Side effects of immigration are less destruction of our environment and the carbon footprint of America going down. Supply chain, I didn't make a note of that, but I made a note of it, but I didn't get the details. Joe Biden's now got that in his policy. No one ever even talked about it, but it wasn't until Trump pushed back on China that suddenly we're talking about made in America again. That used to be the Democrats' big thing back in the 70s and 80s. They were the forces, but now it's flipped. USMXCA, that was the trade deal that Trump put through, United States, Mexico, and Canada. A win-win-win, as Justin Trudeau described it. Brought the opportunity for unions to be in Mexico. It was, quote, a shocking display of bipartisan cooperation. It was President Trump, no Democrat, even suggested that it was necessary. Now, the Democrats had something to do with putting some of these positive things into that deal, including what Bernie Sanders, in his Our Revolution, spoke directly about the fact of having corporations being able to sue democracies and overturning what they want, because in the old deal, the old NAFTA, they had the right to sue, which they did. They overturned a terrible case in Canada, where Canada had to, people in Newfoundland, some corporate billionaire sleazeballs. Never mind, don't get me started here. Conservative judges, right now.
Let me ask you this question.
Do
you agree with Justice Scalia's assertion that the Voting Rights Act is a, quote, perpetuation of racial entitlement, end quote?
Senator Feinstein, I don't obviously know what Justice Scalia was thinking when he said that. And any characterization of the Voting Rights Act or a statement like that is simply really not something I can opine on. Because, that's tied in, I would think, with these Shelby County questions.
Well, can you opine? I'm not asking for a formal opinion, but would you believe that it's a perpetuation of racial entitlement?
Well, Senator Feinstein, I think that goes to the question of whether the coverage formula was outdated and needed to be updated from the 1960s or not. I take that to be the thrust of the disagreement in Shelby County and the position that Justice Scalia was taking. So again, I can't express a view on Shelby County and whether the majority or dissent had the better of the argument.
Okay, let me move on to workers' rights and age discrimination.
Yeah, you know, it's always difficult to hear the Supreme Court interrogations. It's frustrating. They're never going to get a straight answer, but they get some elements of the quality of the personality, I would hope. I like Judge Barrett. I am a conservative when it comes to the abortion issue. I do think Lindsey Graham's bill that he tried to get passed that was defeated a couple of years ago should be passed. As far as I know about it, maybe there's something I don't know, but that was the Pain-Capable Unborn Child Protection Act. Anyways, you might have heard of it. You probably haven't, because it really wasn't covered much. Then back to Trump and the accomplishments. Conservative judges, First Step Act. First Step Act. That was the incarceration. Getting people out of federal prisons. A first step it was. Democrats didn't get all they wanted in the act, but on the other hand, they never presented the bill that was anywhere near this in the Obama administration, even when he had the majority. Internationally, North Korea, Ukraine, Russia, we're still here, you know, we're still here. He's still got the doors open. We haven't got hatred going back and forth between those powers, though with China and the USA it doesn't look so good. And Trump's personality is challenging. We'll see. Maybe it's going to be a landslide for Biden. I just feel like we got to go with the red, white, and blue thing. I don't know. Gosh, I feel like I'm hurting for my country, but it's just me. I'm listening for the tree frog. Did you hear that tree frog? Now that I started listening for him, he stopped. Where do you get peace in this world, huh? Meditate on that guy. Okay, cheers everybody. Thank you. Love you. Take care.